Galadriel was born in Valinor in the Years of the Trees, before the First Age. Much of Galadriel's story is confusing, and there are several distinct tales told about her collected in Unfinished Tales. According to the older account, used in the Silmarillion, Galadriel was an eager participant and leader in the rebellion of the Noldor, and their flight from Valinor due to her desire to one day rule over lands in Middle-earth herself. She was eager to see Middle-earth, having heard of it from Fëanor, and wanted to rule a realm of her own. She swore no oaths and was like-minded with her cousin Fingon, son of Fingolfin. However, separated from Fëanor and his kin, she and her people did not take part in the kinslaying at Alqualande. They followed Fingolfin instead, and crossed the Helcaraxe in the far north. Once in Beleriand, she lived nominally with one of her brothers, most likely Finrod, but spent much time at the court of Thingol and Melian in Menegroth, where she arrived in FA 52 and was welcomed because of her family relationship to Thingol's brother Olwe, Galadriel's maternal grandfather. She met Celeborn, a kinsman of Thingol, in Doriath. She also traveled to visit her brother Finrod in his realm of Nargothrond multiple times. Her 3 other brothers were killed during various battles in the First Age. Galadriel became friends with Melian the Maya, who wanted to know the cause of the exile of the Noldor. Galadriel only briefly narrated the story to her, leaving out the death of Finwë, the kinslaying at Alqualande, and the burning of the ships at Losgар. She dwelt in Nargothrond with her brother Finrod and asked him if he would take no wife. But Finrod had taken an oath only for himself, and his beloved had been left in Valinor. She had no role in the major wars of the First Age, believing that defeating Morgoth was beyond the power of the Eldar. Having played no part in the earlier kinslaying, was offered safe return to Valinor. However, she chose not to leave Middle-earth, and was the only leader of the Noldor exiles to remain after the First Age. Celeborn and Galadriel traveled first to Lindon, where they ruled over a group of elves as a fiefdom under Gil-galad, the High King of the Noldor. Sometime later, they had a daughter, Celebrian. They moved eastward and established the realm of Eregion, which they ruled under Gil-galad. Eregion, to the west of the Misty Mountains near Khazad-dûm, was a prosperous kingdom during this time and had open trade with the dwarves. Also, during this time, they made contact with an Andoran settlement in the Valley of the Anduin, later to be known as Lothlórien. Subsequently, when Celebrimbor took over the rule of Eregion, Galadriel left by way of the mines of Khazad-dûm. After the death of King Amdir in the War of the Last Alliance and the departure of his son Amroth, Celeborn and Galadriel became the Lord and Lady of Lothlórien. In the Second Age, the Maya Anatar, Lord of Gifts, guided Celebrimbor and the other Noldor of Eregion in the creation of the Rings of Power. Galadriel had immediate distrust in Anatar, which was later justified when he was revealed to be Sauron. Galadriel counseled Celebrimbor in the hiding of the rings, and when Eregion was attacked, she was entrusted with all of the 3 rings of the elves. Her ring was Nenya, the Ring of Water. Conscious of Sauron's power and wishing to thwart it, she did not use the powers of her ring as long as the One Ring was in Sauron's hands. However, during the Third Age, when the One Ring was lost, she put it to good use, protecting the borders of her realm, where the powers of her ring were protection, preservation, and concealment from evil. Through Celebrian's wedding to Elrond, Galadriel was the grandmother of Elladan and Elrohir and Arwen. The tales tell little of Galadriel or of Celeborn during many centuries in the Third Age, but after the formation of the White Council in TA 2463, she put forth her might in opposition of Sauron. During the invasion of the Balchot, Galadriel provided aid to the Earl the Young and the Atoad in the form of a white mist that protected them both from the evils of Sauron in Dol Guldur and the sight of their enemies. This allowed the Atoad to ride unnoticed to the Battle of the Field of Celebrant. They would become the Rohirrim, but regarded her and the Golden Wood with fear. She played a pivotal role in the formation of the White Council, though her counsel to put Gandalf as its head was not followed. Just prior to the War of the Ring, Galadriel hosted the Fellowship of the Ring after their escape from the mines of Moria. Once in Karaz Galadhon, Galadriel allowed Frodo Baggins to peer into the Mirror of Galadriel, enabling them to glimpse possible events of the future. She, in turn, was tested when Frodo later offered to place the One Ring in her keeping. To illustrate what would happen if she accepted, she presented an image of herself corrupted by the ring, declaring,
In place of a Dark Lord, you would have a queen! Not dark, but beautiful and terrible as the dawn! Treacherous as the sea! Stronger than the foundations of the earth! All shall love me and despair!
Swiftly she returned to her original form, seemingly smaller and frailer than before, declaring,
I pass the test. I will diminish and go into the west and remain Galadriel.
As the fellowship departed, she gave each member a gift and an elven cloak, and outfitted the party with boats and supplies. Gimli, in particular, was touched by Galadriel's nobility and beauty, and asked for one strand of her golden hair as an heirloom of his house. She generously gave him 3, which he later set in an impregnable crystal. Apart from the strands of hair given to Gimli, she gave a melon seed and a small box of earth from her garden to Samwise Gamgee, a green elfstone set in silver to Aragorn, along with a scabbard for his sword Anduril, and a belt each to Boromir, Merry, and Pippin. To Legolas, she gave a long stout bow of the Galadrim. To Frodo, she gave a magical file, which captured the light of Eärendil's star, which Frodo and Sam would later use to great effect to pass through Shelob's lair to complete their quest. After the departure of the Fellowship, Galadriel acted to ensure the success of the quest. It was she who summoned Gwaihir to rescue Gandalf off the peak of Celebdil, and it was she who nursed him back to health, dressing him in white, symbolizing his status as the new leader of the Order of Wizards. Later, she sent word to Aragorn about the paths of the dead and messages to the Rangers of the North, leading to the southward ride of the Grey Company. As Sauron put forth all his power during the War of the Ring, he was aware of the threat of the Elves and their ancient potency, so he sent armies to besiege many of their settlements in the north, while simultaneously assailing the major cities of men and dwarfs. Lórien itself was assaulted 3 times, but the armies of Dol Guldur were driven back due to the courage of the elves and the power of Galadriel's ring. It is said that the power of her ring could not be overcome unless Sauron himself would come to do battle. After the fall of Sauron, she, with Thranduil of Mirkwood and their elven allies, crossed the Anduin to Dol Guldur, where they tore down its walls and laid bare its pits. She then travelled to Minas Tirith for the wedding of King Elasar and Lady Arwen, and returned to Lórien until TA 3021, when she journeyed to the Grey Havens, and with the remaining ring-bearers took a ship, and returned at last to the Undying Lands, whence she had come so long ago.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button so I can feel all mushy inside. Also, click the subscribe button while you are there, and then since you are on such a clicking roll, why not click on another awesome video that is already loaded up right here. You don't even have to watch it, just let the video play at 1% while you eat your sushi or something.